Gary L. Smith, and I'm here with the boys. As a follow up to what we discussed on Friday on the Joy Fest take, we'll be looking at the Ghana Premier League and a couple of quirky stuff that have taken our interest this weekend and in the last week or so. And even before we begin, somebody has sent a message and he says, Gary, good show. Meanwhile, I've not started the show. Hans Mensah is here with me. The man says, Gary, good show. I'm not sure what show he listened to because I literally signed on Godwin from North Kanishi. This guy has to be clairvoyant. He has to be psychic. Because we've not had the show, but he's already sent in a message. All right, let me read his message. He says, good show as always. Your man Emmanuel Nete is the real deal. See the back heel against Dreams FC yesterday. Nobody has buzzed the midfield of a team since the days of Michael Essien. Time for Ashgold to also fall on Thursday Night Football. The Phobians are really bringing back the love to wherever we play. See the crowd yesterday in Dewu. Amazing scene. So Gordon from North Kanishi. Preempting our discussion, which actually is not what we wanted to talk about, but if you don't get what he's saying, yesterday Heart of Oak were winners against Dreams FC in their Ghana Premier League game, Matchday 7 game. Lots of people actually expected two results, that either Dreams will beat Hearts or that there will be a draw. Yeah. And Heart of Oak went over and won with a very, very good team goal. You can find that goal on the handle of Joy Sport on Twitter at Joy Sports GH. But today what we want to talk about is talent in the Ghana Premier League. So we have quite a number of teenagers this season. We have one for Adriana who is very good, but the one who is taking a lot of attention is what's his name again? Matthew Enim Kujo. I know him by his nickname, so it's usually the nickname that tries to come out. Enim Kujo, they call him Messi, right? No, don't laugh. They call him Messi, and he plays for Asante Kotoko. He's 16 years, and he was really the game changer in the game against Accra Hearts of Oak when they played 2 weeks ago in the Super Clash. Lots of people feel that, this is a young boy whose talent is good enough that people will pay to go and watch him, which is what, growing leagues is all about. But we've got the news, and it's been trending for a while. It had been simmering for a while. It's now out there that, he was due to go outside the country for trials. 16 years, I'm telling you. So there were pictures on Facebook and social media generally showing himself and his agent, out there in Germany, going to Bayern Munich to see Miroslav Klose, the legendary, who scored more World Cup goals with the head than anybody else, as well as other records. And he's also going to, try and see if he can make the under-19 team. So that's what we're talking about. How quickly can we sort this problem in the Ghana Premier League? Hans, thank you for your time.
Glad to be here, Gary.
You have many stories to share, I know.
Of course.
We tried talking about this briefly on Friday, but we didn't have enough time. So basically, many people feel that it's about money, and there's no money in the system for footballers who have probably tried for a long time to break through in Ghana. And so the most important thing is that they would leave. And Matthew Enim Kujo is just the latest in a long line of players who want to leave the country. I have said that if we are able to pay them something decent, like we know some clubs have been giving their players, like Wachi as winning bonus. We've heard that in the past.
True.
Some people have given, one bag of pure water as winning bonus and other outrageous things. But there's a guy who got a winning bonus when they won against Hearts over 2,000 Ghana cedis.
Yes.
Yeah. And so he
actually doled out 1,000 to the victim of that shooting incident.
Yes, indeed. So if you pay them decently, we can't match the North African teams. But my point is that if you can give them a decent wage. But while we're discussing this topic and debating whether to talk about it, George, who is also here, was saying that Charlie, for every 5,000 cedis that a Heart or Kotoko can pay, which they don't, teams abroad will pay better, and so the talent will leave. So, George, welcome also.
Yeah, thank you, Gary.
So, Martin Enim is currently in Germany. He's experiencing the spring. The winter is going.
Yeah.
So he's getting to spring.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first flowers are shooting up from the greenery.
Yeah.
And he's leaving his mates at Kotoko behind. They're in the heat with us here.
That's right.
And he's there.
That's right.
Do you think Kotoko could have done better to keep him?
I actually don't think so. Because these days our players want to move not only because of the money. They want to move because they have an opportunity to play outside. They believe that there's a thinking that when you go outside, you are better off than those who are playing here. When you play outside, those who are playing here will respect you. When you play outside, you get the opportunity to play in the national team. When you play outside, you are more in quotes the professional. So because of that thinking,
in fact, when you come, they call
exactly
you,
they are the ones referred to as professional.
Yeah, when you come, actually,
or a professional player.
Yeah, your colleagues will say, "Oh, you're a professional."
Yes,
professional player.
So because of that thinking, it makes it difficult to tell a player that okay, Bayern Munich are offering you $500,000 as Kotoko. We want to offer you $300,000, so you stay for 1 year. You say, "Oh, Charlie, boss, this one." There's opportunity. Even the son says you go, the man will say, "Oh, bruh, now yes, sir, me banding your opportunity." You see what I'm saying? So because of that, because of that, it makes it difficult for our clubs. That's the first reason. One.
Yeah.
Number two, our clubs, because they are not making a lot of revenue from the other channels. Professional clubs are supposed to make money from. You know, paraphernalia, merchandise, ticketing. You know. What else?
Events, using your events.
TV,
using your facilities in the stadium.
Using your facilities in the stadium.
Yeah.
Sponsorship that's coming to you. TV rights that's coming to you. Your Kotoko TV, how much it's able to. Because we are not doing all of these things, our clubs are solely relying on how many players you can sell and how much money you can make from selling players.
Yeah. Which is lazy. Emphasize that.
Which is lazy. But at the moment, if you're a Ghana Premier League club, or you are a Division 1 club, or you are a Division 2 club, and you are not selling players enough, you cannot run your club. That is where we are.
Yeah.
So for me, these two reasons are so key to why I'm saying it's going to be difficult for you to keep Messi Kujo, Ronaldo Kujo, Abedi Pele Kujo, Drogba Kujo, or Issa Kujo. Every Kujo you have will go.
Do you notice a trend now? Go to any coach club,
Messi Day,
any academy,
yes,
okay, and first of all, ask them who is your role model. It's a foreign player they are going to make. One of these foreign superstars.
Yeah, of course.
I want to be Messi, I want to be Ronaldo. In fact, if you look at the social media handles of some of these boys,
a lot of them
have got names of these foreign stars.
Yeah, they've got their Ghanaian names.
And then they add a Messi or something. Now again, ask them, which club do you dream of playing for?
Chelsea.
They are going to mention the foreign clubs. Which I think is an indictment on the local club.
Not indictment.
It is. I mean, you see, first of all, you want to hear them say, well, I want to play for maybe Hearts of Oak or Kotoko, and then eventually step up. But the Hearts and Kotokos don't even come in at all.
They don't want to play, I think.
And that, I think, is a problem. Elsewhere, I'm sure if you go to South Africa, young kids are dreaming of representing Sundowns and Pirates, and then they'll talk about all those European clubs. When you go to Egypt, those boys will be proud to say, I want to play for Al Ahly or Zamalek before they talk about Liverpool because Mohamed Salah is playing there. But that is not the case here. That's another discussion for another day. Any young boy who sets out to play football in this country, it's about two things. Finding himself, one, out of Ghana, and two, making money. And so you've also got an environment that sort of facilitates that. Okay? We've got an environment that also wants to fast track the kids and send them out. Look,
in fact, we are perfecting a system that fast tracks their departure from.
Back then, growing up, when I was young, I never heard of a second division player moving abroad. These days it's common.
It is the norm.
In fact, there's a business model within Ghanaian football, okay, that has people setting up Division 2 clubs especially, which is used to run these agencies that sends players abroad. They don't send them. Nobody wants to run that sort of agency, using the Premier League because it is capital intensive. Division 2, you can just manage it small, and then send players out. And there are a lot of lower division players who are. Look, there are more lower division players living in the country than
Premier League. For sure. Division 1, more players.
Again, let me.
The philosophy is that the higher you rise in the football pyramid in Ghana, the more content you become because at least you get something small.
Let me zoom in on Matthew Kujo specifically. And here I want to ask a question first of all. Is the interest of this boy being properly represented?
You ask your question.
Now let me lay down certain scenarios.
You ask your question.
1, he's 16 years. 2, he plays for Kumasi Asante Kotoko. At 16, a Ghana boy is able to play a game and earn 2,000 Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
You are 16.
What else? In Sarkodie's voice.
You don't have a child. You don't have a wife. You have basically no responsibilities.
He has a mother. He probably has a siblings too.
You can play a game that earns you 2,000 cedis for one game. Again, you are 16.
Yeah.
Question I'm asking is, does he really need to move out of the country
now,
as we speak? Let's just be honest.
Well, for me, it depends on. I'm going to try.
So comments are coming in. A few have come in, but I'll read them after George. Yeah. Let me mention the number again. 0244-340-437. 0244-340-437. Yeah, Hans, finish and then George.
Okay. The second question I want to ask is, do Asante Kotoko really want to sell this boy if, he's able to impress Bayern Munich and then they admit him into the academy? He'll probably go for maybe some 200,000, 300,000 US dollars at best.
Or euros. Looking at the boy's potential, is Asante Kotoko really saying that if they keep this boy for another 2 years,
they won't be able to milk $1 million out of him?
Yeah. For
which reason? And let's bear in mind, this one is not a case where it's out of Kotoko's hands.
Yeah.
The boy has signed a contract with Asante Kotoko. He's their player. They have that right over him. So do they really need to sell? I see two scenarios here. I see a manager who, for one reason or the other, wants to get the boy out, and a club that is not being forward thinking. If you ask me, okay, yes, this boy has got a desire to move outside the country. But really, if you ask me now, if anybody experienced in football sits this boy down and tells him, look, you're young, you've got time, play one more season in the Ghana Premier League, play 2 more seasons,
this is what
you will develop. Yeah. You get to this level, and then opportunities will come, and then you move out. I'm sure this boy understands. These decisions are not being made by this boy. First of all, let's establish that.
Yeah, sure.
The decision to send this boy on trial to Bayern is not being made by him. Nobody can convince me. Martin Kujo decided that, Bayern came and so he's going. The decisions are being made for the boy.
Yeah. Either on the...
And that's what I'm asking.
Or the Guardian level.
Okay, so and that's what I'm asking.
Let me provide...
Is his interest being properly represented?
Okay.
If you are done,
let me provide some answers.
Yeah, question one. What was question one again, Hans?
Oh, that was question one was what I just asked.
So Hans is asking the question, if Kumasi Asante Kotoko keep this boy, won't he, make more money for them?
Over time.
Okay, this is the first one. I'm sure the agents will tell you that it's been really difficult now for players to move out of West Africa straight into Europe. That is one.
Yeah.
Number 2, the club is probably looking at 2 options. If Kujo was here and we expected him to develop, he would develop at say 25%, 30%.
Yeah.
If Kujo was in an academy outside and we expected him to develop, he would develop faster. So
good point. The rate at which
he would develop will be faster than this side, because he will definitely have more opportunities, more guys to guide him, and there will be more attention on him. So it will be moving towards what kind of deal Kotoko wants to have with Bayern Munich. There, because we look at the 16-year-old who cannot even sign, quote,
a professional contract. Yeah.
I don't know if you understand me. So we're expecting him to grow by 18 when he's coming up. So Kotoko have an opportunity here, one, to make sure that this boy develops well in the next 2 years, and then also decide how they will go about the nitty-gritties of how much they can make from the boy based on what's happening here. Now, that for me, that is one of the key things that Kumasi Asante Kotoko will be looking at. But Hans, another issue is, in Ghana, even when the club owns the player, the agent is the one controlling everything. I have seen times when a player is under 5-year contract, and an agent can teach the boy how to frustrate the club to cancel the contract. So the agent, the father and mother and the family are critical members of this decision. Now, that's one thing. So I would say that Kumasi Asante Kotoko have an opportunity. For the boy, he's very excited that he's going out there.
Yeah.
But he needs guidance in what happens to his life in the next 2 years going out there. And that's where we have missed it a lot of times. So I don't want to mention names. And when I'm doing, I don't mention names. There are so many examples. Yeah, there are so many examples. Okay. Oh, no, wait. I know the names I don't want to mention.
Oh.
Like, there are some examples of young players who went out. The idea was to go through academy system or go through a team B, and it didn't really wash it. So that's where the management.
So there are many well-known examples.
Yes.
So I am
fantastic points George made, and I agree.
Okay.
There are a couple of submissions on our WhatsApp line. So
first of all,
them now. Okay, you make your point, and then we go to the WhatsApp.
I was a bit uncomfortable with the sort of or the level of exposure the boy was receiving at Asante Kotoko. First up, I just didn't think that Kotoko was the right place for him to develop. Let me establish that. Because the level of exposure for a 16-year-old was just too much.
The eyeballs, eh?
It was simply too much.
You mean pressure-wise?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you see, you have to look at it this way. For Asante Kotoko, the boy comes on, during games for a certain effect.
Yeah.
Okay? If you know Kotoko very well, you will realize that, Charlie, sometimes I will say issue. And the boy served that purpose.
Yeah.
Okay. When things are not going there, of course he comes in and he changes things. But he has that sort of effect on the fans where he comes in or for tricky and then get the crowd all excited.
Yeah.
If that were to continue for an entire season, you have to understand the effect he was going to have on him.
Crazy.
It calibrates his mind to being a show boy, first of all. So over time, you realize that there won't be an end product to the sort of football that he plays. That is when you start him in games. That effect is possible. So I wasn't comfortable with Kotoko. And I was discussing this with you. I felt that he should be in an academy where, you go through a proper development. Because there's a critical stage in his development.
Yeah.
He may be so good at this stage. And that's the funny thing about player development. They can be so good at a certain point, you think that when you put them, they are just ready for the big time. But in reality, they are not. Because you see, mentally, physically, they may not be. But skill-wise, he'll be able to beat, somebody who is older than him. So you think that he is ready. So I wasn't comfortable with the Kotoko at all first.
Right, that's one.
I'm glad if he's moving outside Ghana.
And I'm glad
exactly under 19 an academy side. But again, I'm also not comfortable with Bayern Munich. Also because of the German system.
Anyway.
Look, the Germans prioritize their own. Let's not get it twisted.
Yeah, that's true.
First of all. And so it's going to be very difficult. I'm not even talking about the culture shock that he's likely to experience. He's going to be homesick for a 16-year-old who's never traveled outside this country. The weather is going to be a problem for him.
He's done a few trials, actually.
He's
done
and so all of these factors combined will hit him hard. I don't know how he's going to cope.
Yeah.
You understand me? Add to that, what really is the end game at Bayern Munich? That he breaks into the Bayern Munich first team? Is that the end game?
We don't know.
We don't know.
Okay.
But
I think as a people, we tend to wish things into reality. And sometimes like to bury our heads in the sun like the ostrich. Let's face reality. And the reality is that our players do not move from Ghana into clubs like Bayern Munich and walk and get into the first team.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. Okay.
Some Belgium, some France.
There's a reason it doesn't happen. Look at all of our players who have ended up at the Real Madrid, at Atletico Madrid, at Chelsea, at Inter Milan. They went through smaller clubs and then gradually rose to get there.
Essentially, they tune their minds to their
absolutely.
Systems. Yes.
If Michael Essien had moved straight from Liberty Professionals to Chelsea, it wouldn't have happened for him. And we know it. If Sule Muntari had moved from wherever he was to Inter Milan, it wouldn't have happened. The list goes on and on and on. Now, look at those who made it and the progress they made. They go through smaller clubs, maybe in France, in Italy, and then rise gradually before you realize, boom.
Belgium, Netherlands.
The last of them was probably Thomas Partey.
Yeah.
Now, look at his progression. Okay? And look at where he finds himself now. If he had walked straight into Atletico Madrid first team setup, it wouldn't have happened. And I'm even talking Atletico.
Okay.
So let's be careful. I think I should probably have taken him to Scandinavia.
No, but you see, the other point is the other point is that one, you don't control what comes. That's another thing. So you don't sit in your room and say, Scandinavia come. They come. No, France come. So right now, I'm just. So the opportunity they have now is Bayern Munich. Now, if Asian and Co had to go through other things, it doesn't necessarily mean that this guy can go straight. But I'm just saying this.
Yeah.
When you play for an academy side, you have the opportunity for other clubs to see you because these academies play internationals, and so you have. I mean,
even local games.
Local games. So
reserve team leagues. So everybody's watching everybody.
Yes, there are so many players in the Bayern Munich academy who will not end up in the Bayern. Even Germans who will not end up in the Bayern Munich team. So this, I think, gives him an opportunity to show the world what he's got. It is possible that a team from Scotland may see him and say, okay, this guy wants to buy him, or a team from Belgium will come and see want to buy him, and it's all in there. That's what I'm saying, that let us rather encourage the management to sit down and look into things well, because this is the critical stage. Academy, beautiful. But the clauses and stuff that they are going, they should make sure that it's not a situation where the guy is locked in Bayern Munich and is going to stay in Bayern Munich, because we know that if it's just Bayern Munich, you need the grace of God to get into the main team, which is true. No. I mean, no. Anyway, if you're playing in the academy, you could get opportunity to go and play
in tournaments
in Belgium, or you can get
even
somewhere.
From Hoffenheim.
Hoffenheim can come for you.
I agree.
And then you see, through that you go round and you can get the opportunity. You see, it's very difficult to deal with this case, because this is where we are now. In as much
and also, George.
Yes. Okay, Gary.
I'll say 2 words before you continue. Okay. Kujo seems to be a special talent.
He is.
Yes, he is.
That is the
he is.
That is the breaker.
If he isn't, wouldn't be discussing him on this show.
He seems, because I mean, the temperament to even come to a Haskotoko match and impudently feel cool. You know, So
I don't know what the age was, but I was told by some Hartlepool fans that Mohamed Polo also was very young.
Mohamed Polo.
So we've got those kind of players. But I understand where Hans is coming from. Just trying to make sure that we are saving this guy and saving him for the future. So that all those involved will get the best out. If the manager wants to make money
George speaks, can you scroll down the WhatsApp chat?
So if the manager wants to make money, you can even make more money if we handle this boy well. If Kotoko wants to make money, you can even make more money if you handle this boy well. Can we spend time now in talking about what goes into whatever we are going to do with Bayern Munich if they agree to take this boy in the academy? And then we have to continue.
Let's get a couple of comments. It's 1:37 in our studios. Just means 23 minutes at the top of the hour. Let's get a few comments, Hans.
Okay, so Nkojo says, so we would have missed a great talent like in Nkojo if the Ghana Premier League had not kicked off.
Charlie, true.
That's a solid point.
That's a solid point.
And he says the truth is Kotoko wanted to sign him for about 5 years, but his management didn't agree. So it's not like we are not forward thinking, sir.
Okay, so a lot has been said. That's why we didn't want to go into specifics. Some people have said this. Some people said it's not true. So if you say so, Iko Joseph has just been elected the PRO of Kotoko Circles, one of the circles. So
but Gary, if you're following things, if I was an agent of any player, I don't think I want to go.
No. Especially for a generational talent. Even Dauda Mohamed, Kotoko's Dauda Mohamed, 2 seasons ago. I desperately wanted that boy to stay here. I desperately wanted him to stay here.
You see the point you're making? What is dicey about wanting players to stay is this. At a point, players must move out. What the trend I've also realized.
But the movie has moved out. What has it done for him?
For a lot of Ghanaian players, those who really make their name in the Ghana Premier League find their fortunes out there hampered. Quite a number of them. Charles Taylor, Don Bote, Ishmelado, name them. They don't get good careers, out there. So I think the timing is critical. It's an age thing. They have to move at the right time. This one says, Gary, good afternoon. The way Kotoko is being awarded bad goals in the ongoing Premier League should be a cause of worry to all of us. Talk about it before it gets out of hand. The equalizer yesterday against Liberty was a classical example.
So Eric from La. Let me give you background. Eric, are you knee from La as well? Before I say what I want to say, let me Eric. So the thing about the Kotoko thing, yesterday, if you watch the game, the Hearts game as well, you saw the decision I was taking against Dreams.
Yeah.
The penalty call.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen it, Hans?
Yes, I've seen it.
The penalty for Dreams.
Yeah.
I thought that it was not a penalty.
Well, I felt it was a penalty.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There are some 50-50 calls. I mean, last season was it in the NC that we said Kotoko have become a penalty team?
Yeah.
In fact, they've had that reputation for about 3 seasons
Absolutely.
now. That when things get difficult for Kotoko, they always seem to get a penalty. So, yes, we will talk about it if it gets out of hand, but thank you for drawing our attention. I'm sure that there is no concerted effort to give them a penalty. Yeah. You saw that about Juventus as well. Yesterday in their game.
Good afternoon. Can you guys educate me on this? Is it lawful to transfer an underage boy to a foreign club? Educate me, please. I do not. Okay, so yes, there are laws, regulating the transfer of underage players. So
it's not direct. There are some things.
There are some requirements that need to be
followed. Dauda Mohammed that we mentioned, Perry. If I recall, he had a pre-contract.
Yeah, pre-contract.
So even before he left Ghana, we knew that he was leaving and he was going to Anderlecht.
Yes.
And then so they have pre-contract and okay, Eric, you say you are not knee. All right, thank you for your comment on Kotoko.
Of the comment, Gary and Co. This Kotoko boy wonder at Bayern Munich. Christian Saba, with all his talent at the local level, never played a single game at Bayern, although he's now doing well as a coach. Yeah. I believe that's what most of the Niger boys have over our boys. Most Niger talents are ready to start at the Belgium or Holland small team. Look at Ndidi now. The best tackler in the APL and played 2 years in Belgium. Godwin from North Carolina.
And I think we have established that. And again, we harken back to people like the late Alhaji Slaitete who understood this. Yes. So he focused his efforts on building a relationship with 2 or 3 clubs. The most famous of which was, of course, Udinese. That I have talent, but when they come, and I'm told that when he established that relationship, he was clear with them that these boys come from a certain cultural background. Mm-hmm. So when they come, don't push them immediately into that, and even for someone like Kojo Asamoah, he went to Udinese and then he had to go to Belenenses, go a step down. Andre, for all his exposure, look at this.
He went to play in the lower division.
Yeah, he went to Al Avignon for all his exposure and who his father is and all that. Yeah. When he left here,
you see, sometimes a player is at a point where he has to be playing at a certain level week in, week out. Yeah. And emphasis on at a certain level. Yeah. Sometimes it's not enough playing in the under-19s anymore. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you're better off playing in maybe the German Division 2 than playing in the under-19s.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's better playing in the Spanish Segunda Division than playing in, let's say, the Barca under-16 or something. Yeah. So those are the things we are talking about. There's an interesting comment. Abedi Pele was introduced into the Black Stars at the age of 17 years. True.
Yeah, you didn't send your name?
He didn't have his name.
Okay.
And I've heard a lot of people make this argument, quite a lot. What people do not realize is that players, just as human beings, are different.
Sure.
The skill level may be the same, but the mental fortitude and maturity, the temperament would be totally different. You'll be surprised. You throw one 17-year-old boy into the Black Stars and you have no problem. We've seen Mohamed Kudus comes into the Black Stars and he's not 17 though, but he's relatively young. And he didn't look out of place.
At all.
Throw in another 17-year-old into the Black Stars and that would be the end of his career.
Yeah.
So let's not make those comparisons.
I think what you're saying for this boy is he's played in hard Kotoko game.
You're making a point. You made a point that, you see, and it comes back to the point I was making. It was laden with a lot of ifs and maybes. Which is okay, yes. If he goes to Bayern, maybe you go play a game and maybe Hoffenheim will see him and perhaps somebody will see him. That's all true. But how about a deliberate plan
where you have as many guarantees as possible?
Where his representative says that, look, you are good enough. I'm going to Norway and show your clips to Norwegian clubs.
Okay.
Like the Warriors approach.
Absolutely.
That he ended up top scorer in... And even though Warriors is not playing in a United or... Anywhere Warriors has gone,
he's actually been going. Yes, he's been getting good clubs as well.
Yes, and he has shown.
And so, how about deliberate effort? You're good. He's played for Asante Kotoko. You have clips of him. Get to those countries. You see, make up your mind that, look, I'm going to let this boy start at this point. That by the time he's at this age, I want him to be at this level. By the time he's 24, I am aiming that he will play for Chelsea, he will play for Manchester United, he will play for Real Madrid. How about deliberate plans? The ifs and the maybes for me, it doesn't work for me. I have decided. Fortunately, and I've been saying this a lot around the office, I have a son, and I've said this. if by the time he's 18 years he doesn't play the Ghana Premier League, that's it.
Then he doesn't play.
Then he won't play football.
You know, yeah, but
of course. And let me tell you the plan.
No, but you don't want to push your son's plan out. You want to push it on.
Oh, but it's not a problem for me. I'm just saying. I mean, you must have a plan.
Yeah.
First of all, okay. Decide that he requires a certain level of competition at every point to be able to achieve a certain level of growth. Okay. That level of competition is going to be found here and here and here. He also requires a certain environment to ensure the growth that you want to achieve at every stage. That sort of environment can be provided for at here and here and here. You understand me? Yeah. That is deliberate.
You see,
if you go on the tangent of, yes, okay, he's gone to Bayern Munich, maybe he gets into the Bayern at 19 and maybe, that's all true. But what if it doesn't happen?
Okay, but my point is that so that we don't seem to be getting ahead of ourselves with what the management want to do, I like it because we're using a lot of ifs, and what Hans is saying is the ideal situation. We don't know what the management is doing at the moment. So not to say that they are not thinking. We can only be sure about exactly where all of this is going.
We're arguing from the point that the Ghana Premier League keeps losing. He's just one high profile,
one
but we see it on an almost weekly basis.
So just to top it up in what he was saying with having a plan for the players. And I think with the KK Sapon, he wanted to have a relationship with Stoke City, Sunderland. Was it Sunderland?
Sunderland.
Yeah, our clubs will also have to start looking at those things.
Absolutely.
That you create a relationship where, and because look, even though it was,
you're talking like a Liberty Udinese kind of.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right to Dream, Nordjylland.
Yes. I don't
let's emphasize.
Like you need that. And it's easy for you to.
Let's also emphasize that this boy is a special talent. We've mentioned.
Yeah.
For all of us here, some of us are not comfortable because we want to see this boy at a very high level. Yeah. We want to see him play to the highest possible level. And maybe we feel that he should be going through a certain route or should be moving in a certain direction. None of us want to see this boy not make it.
Yeah.
I think that people sometimes listen and they feel you're being pessimistic.
Yeah.
I would rather know that I'm following a deliberate plan than trying to wish things
have the option
to be happening. So yes.
So like the Haaland approach.
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
deliberately.
For me, I've seen
Solskjaer give him the beginning at Molde.
Yeah.
He could have gone elsewhere, but his agent and parents, especially,
Red Bull Salzburg,
decided that he should go to Red Bull.
And it happens a lot of times.
Again, he's done it again, where he got the option for we know that the exigential factor.
It happens a lot. I have seen a lot of players who got huge clubs, but their parents decided no, you are not ready for this.
Or they are mindless,
You know, so
okay.
I mean, let's have those plans in place. He's 16.
Yeah.
I want to see this boy play for the Ghana under 17.
Yeah.
Because you see,
those are
very
the things
often as well. Exactly. Those very often as well. These boys go and they are supposed to play for maybe the youth teams of the countries, and it doesn't happen. We don't see them.
If he plays under 17, his profile goes higher.
Exactly. Let him play in the under 17.
As
good as he is, I'm sure you probably be able to cut it for the under 20s as well.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Gary, I think we have moved into Messi Kujo for too long. I'm just thinking.
My last thing.
The players here, they will go. That one. Let's get ready. You see, so.
We can't do anything about it.
I'm really sorry about it
because the teams need money.
You see, that's the first thing. You see,
Fantastic.
Hans, for me, one, it's not even about the player. It's the teams need money.
Yes.
And because most of the channels of creating
that is
revenue,
that is our reality.
are almost blocked for our club.
So I think the question then should be, how do we within this regime ensure
that
the players are going to leave.
Yeah.
That's something we've come to concede. But how do we ensure that we are getting the most out of these players financially
before they
go first of all,
yes,
and then once we send them away, how do we ensure that we are sending them for the purpose of development, that when they go, that need for them to have an environment where they can develop, is
in layman's terms, what they are saying is that we've accepted our reality that we are selling countries.
Yes.
But we should make sure that, like the Brazilian clubs do,
absolutely,
before
sell them.
And we've seen the Brazilian talent that have been sold to even Real Madrid alone.
That's it.
In the past 18 months. Right from Brazil. But the financial outlay they have made of these boys ensures that conveyor belt, whichever talent pool produce Vinicius and that other guy who has come,
yes,
is going to produce another one next month.
Yes.
Next year. next 2 years, and so on and so forth. So, classic example, I remember so well, just a few years ago, this discussion we are having, Nigeria was having it about a certain speedster. He could run. His problem, everybody knew, was his end product. So, same thing, they put him in the national team and he came to national prominence. Say, oh, he should go here, he should go here. He was linked to every club and his dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the agents, and they took him to VVV Venlo. He went to run aimlessly like that.
Like a headless chicken.
Yeah, but they kept playing him and they kept teaching him. Nigerian national team kept fielding him. You know, as it is now, this player has become the highest scoring Nigerian player in World Cup history. Who is he?
Ahmed Musa.
Ahmed Musa. He's 27 now.
Yeah.
I remember, look, it was a huge argument in Nigeria. Make now this boy that go Man United down, you know, this club wants him, this guy wants him, because he was fast. Yeah. And that's when the Premier League was changing into a transition-based league, you know, where the oil money and things had come. I'm talking this about 10 years ago.
10 years ago, yeah.
You know, they had hosted the Under-17 World Cup in Nigeria just around that time. Yeah. Now, a lot of the European teams were shifting from the 4-4-2 to the 4-3-3. Yeah. So they were looking for players who needed pacey players down the wings and so on.
So Gary, you make a fantastic point. But guys, this is the thing now. So right now, if we have club administrators listening to us this afternoon,
they are.
Good afternoon to you guys all. Yeah. Now, when you sit down and look at your players, what comes, what goes through your mind first?
Money.
I'm so worried.
Money.
That the first thing that comes to your mind is, Hans, how much can we make? We're looking at how much you can just make from the boys.
Yeah, man.
And not looking at
how did you
develop. What are you talking about? George, what are you talking about? After I have paid the boys hospital fees, I have taken his mother to the clinic. We have gone to homeopathic clinic.
But what I want us to do is just go the extra mile of making sure that you earn even more by paying close attention to the movements of the boys. Because so at the moment, all administrators or some of them are interested in is, a club has come for you. The money, okay, how much is this? 180 euros. Okay, all right, go.
But the reality, we're actually taking peanuts for our players. And that's a war.
It's because if you don't take your time, one, if you don't take the money, you can't run your club. Number two, the problem for the clubs is that if you don't take your time, the players are going for cheap. And they are interested in us because we are giving them almost like raw. They see us like raw. Meanwhile, we've got talented players that we can look at. So I'm just saying that there's an extra step for our administrators to go. But the pressure of this country and the economy suggests that, brother, if you have a 3-year-old and somebody is ready to take it, take the boy and give me my money.
I mean,
that's the situation now.
Woe betide the club
if you don't even sell the player. The parents will come to your house at night.
Yeah. I remember you said that. I have a lot of stories. I've seen many of these stories.
It will surprise you that it is not even the agent calling you. The father will call you, the mother will call you. They will tell you about an uncle who will come and so they need the boy to go. So I don't know if we can do anything about this situation.
Let's read a couple.
This one says, hi Joy Sports, a classic example of a guy who went straight to a top European team and failed is Angola's Manucho, who was signed directly by Manchester United in 2008. Kelly Fomosu. And it makes sense. There is a reason why, Manucho will go to Manchester United
somebody
directly.
Somebody is asking a question about a player I really, really feel sorry for.
Okay. Please, Gary, where is this tall, lanky boy, Kofi Nsor?
No, the name is Kwame Nsor.
Kwame Nsor.
Adebayo. Kwame Nsor was supposed to be the Adebayo. He was in a national... Look, when we talk about Kwame Nsor, my heart aches. Charlie, he's in the backwater somewhere at the moment, man.
Bryden from Matayoko says, good afternoon, Gary and team. Brilliant conversation you guys are having there. Please, I'd love to know what it will cost our local clubs, Oli and Haas, to play a lot of evening fixtures. If the cost implications are not there, can we have more evening fixtures so that instead of driving through the rush hour traffic, we can park our cars to watch the evening fixture at the stadium? So we drive home when there is less traffic. Thank you.
We know that the Ghana Premier League management team are considering, that they are increasing that. So, for example, yes, on this week, Hearts and Ashgold was supposed to be Wednesday. Yeah. But when they looked at the schedule, they decided that, they could push it to Thursday and safely do the Saturday and Sunday game. Yeah. So Hearts Ashgold will be 7 p.m. Yeah. So it's something that is being and I'm glad it's really happening. It's great.
Guys, remember Tariq Jibril? Okay, I think he's referencing Tariq Jibril.
Yeah, Tariq Jibril.
Of Heart of Folk. He's with TP Mazembe now. Was called up for the Black Stars.
But you see, Hans, the point
He's trying
Tariq
to make
Jibril
bigger.
is not an example of what we are speaking of.
Anyway, yeah.
Because Tariq is one of those few people whose management was handled very well. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we are afraid that Matthew Kujo will go and he'll get lost. Tariq, when he was leaving Heart, he was given time.
Yeah.
He played against Kotoko and all that.
Yeah.
They allowed him to develop here. He went through the system. Polo had a hand in, some of his. By all accounts, he was a really well-rounded player. He even didn't start in these Man United, and he went to a smaller team. But he simply, even he couldn't break through.
Yeah.
So you see, sometimes you can go through the mail, go through the Belgium. The player would just not be able to as well.
I think that if we want to halt this trend, it's possible.
Yes, you can.
It's very possible to get our players to stay at least longer than they are currently staying.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to go to the grassroots again and make these players understand that we have clubs with a history, with a prestige, good enough for them to make a name for themselves here before thinking of moving outside. Let's make them understand.
Which ages are you dealing with now? Because I can tell you that
for me, I think it's a change of mindset.
See, Hans, that's what I'm saying, that you have lost the battle before you start. Because all players from 7 to 25 now,
they are watching Premier League every week.
They want to leave Ghana. You see, I mean, but
you're
saying it.
Of course, I know.
So then we have to go back.
But you see, the point is, we can't throw our hands in the air and do nothing about it.
That's why I'm saying that, Gary. That's what I'm saying, that this football business, in Ghana, it's like we have taken football out of where it's supposed to be, and we are dealing with it on its own.
Oh, somebody has sent a comment that I wanted to join. Yeah. This is the comment I wanted to make. That it's not just about the money. You see, when the children look at the playing surface, even if the money Kotoko or Hearts are giving them is good, and they look at the pitch they are playing on, yes.
So you see, that's what I'm talking about. Prestige. And I think for clubs like Hearts and Kotoko, they are not projecting their history enough. Mm-hmm. They are not projecting their legends. They are not projecting their current players. Yeah. They are not creating an aura.
There's no emotional attachment for any young boy to stay here.
And these are the things that we need to start
changing. That's what I'm saying, that it's difficult for us.
Ultimately, they will leave. Yes, I mean, we know.
It's difficult for us to just start by dealing with football on its own.
Yeah.
Football rests on so many
economic...
Thank you. I would just say that, for instance. Look, let me give you an example. So because I visited Crystal Palace. If you're born in the South London area, you're likely to have attended school there. You are likely to have you have your GP there. You do everything there.
Yeah, community boy.
You're a community boy. You will grow up supporting Palace. You will grow up wanting to play for Palace.
Absolutely.
But here we are. How many of us, all those of you listening to me, when was the last time you went to your hometown?
So how do we change it? And for me,
that's what I'm saying.
That's where it starts from.
Change it. We have to look at a holistic. It's not just about football.
No.
Because we are losing them now. If 7-year-olds, 6-year-olds are telling you starting lineup of Manchester United.
You see,
your son.
So Hans, that's what we are saying. Touchwood. If your son, you are saying right now, he's a special talent. Assuming Kotoko Hearts suddenly gets some billionaire investor who is able to put money in there, your son most likely, if he is 6 or 7 or 8, he goes to Hearts and Kotoko. He has no freaking idea who played for Kotoko and what it means.
Yeah.
And he goes to the state right now before the investor is able to change the playing service. He looks at the pitch and says, "Daddy, no, hell no."
He wouldn't want to play there.
He wouldn't want to play there. So you see, they will tell him, and you Hans will say that, at 8 years, if they are paying you 2,000 whatever as a pre-contract for me, the parent who used to take care of you, it is good. He will say no, he wouldn't want to stay. And those are the issues. Let's read the comments in 2 minutes.
Can we create play areas in our communities, not just in Zongo, so that almost all our talent will come through to the highest level? The problem with our uneducated but talented players, no disrespect intended, is that they are difficult to teach. Complained by European teams. That is true.
Which is true.
Let me tell you a funny story. So,
you didn't send your name, please.
Yeah. So one of my teammates back in Division 2 gets a trial in France. Mm-hmm. He's a striker. He comes back and he tells us he was unsuccessful. Now here's what happened. He says when he went, they lined up 10 balls on the center line with no goalkeeper in the post and asked him to shoot. He scored 4.
Wow. Out of 10.
Yes.
No goalkeeper.
Yes, no goalkeeper. And they told him, "You are not a striker." And he was insisting he was a striker.
No goalkeeper. 4.
Yes.
10 balls.
Yes. it looks easy, eh?
You fly home.
And you see, I understood why he missed.
Yeah.
If you It's technique. If you look at the sort of training sessions we're having, it was likely it was going to miss.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, let's invest. Let's create that aura around our club. And for Matuenim Kujo, we wish him well.
Yeah, we wish him well. We wish him well. His agent is Sami Enim, who is on the GFA Exco.
No conflict of interest there.
No what?
No conflict of interest.
No, he's a manager. Get out. Sounds mess. I always wanted to create one controversy or other. Me, Gary L. Smith, no controversy whatsoever. Next week we are here with some more edifying discussion, we hope. Thank you for your time. This has been the Joy Sports Track. Now time for the news at 2. Bye-bye.